always there for you. You come closer, I can whisper in your ear.
Hey guys, Sam here, and welcome back to the West Ham United Career Mode series. As you can see today, guys, we kick off with a game in the Premier League against Southampton. If you're enjoying this series, make sure you do me a favour and smash the like button down below. If you're new around here, subscribe, and let me know how you're enjoying the West Ham United Career Mode, the transition from a live com to a post-commentary series. How are you transitioning from that? And also, what do you think of the team? What do you think of the January transfer window? A lot of you guys were pretty positive about the signings and the team that we have now conjured up ourselves. And we'll be moving forward with a pretty strong team in the second half of the league. So I'm pretty happy about that. I thought I made some pretty good signings. I thought I did well for West Ham standards. I think Zaha is going to be a very important player going forward. I think Sergio Roberto might not leave Barcelona in real life. I don't think he will. I think he's an amazing prospect. But I think in FIFA, I think they can do better than Sergio Roberto. You know, he's not the highest rated player. So I thought, what the hell, I'll sign him as well. But I think on the whole, I think I did well. I filled the gaps that I needed to, that I thought were the weakest. And overall, I think we strengthened. So hopefully, these new signings will gel and we'll continue from where we left off. And hopefully, we'll continue the form that we've been playing in. Because obviously, we're still second in the league. Before this game, we were. I'm not sure what we are now. But we were second in the league going into this game. Not by a lot, actually. Our performances have been, I don't know, inconsistent would be the word that I would use. It's been like, we play well one game and then we don't play well, and it's like struggling to score, but then one game will, you know, hammer our opponent. It's very inconsistent. And going into this game against Manchester City, you don't really want to be inconsistent. You want to be doing well. You want your form to be up. And unfortunately for us, it's not, coming off a 0-0 draw with Southampton. Granted, it was at St. Mary's, and I think that's a decent result at St. Mary's to get a point off of Southampton. But nevertheless, you know, we've not really been winning games. And when we do, it's not really a convincing win. You know, we haven't really been dominating opponents. And not that I'd expect us to, but with Manchester City, you want to be careful because they can strike at any point. And as you can see, it is a goal for Samir Nasri, of all players, of all Manchester City players. The bench warmer in Manchester. And it was Lacazette who did a brilliant work. He's moved to Manchester City, found Samir Nasri somehow fooled Ogbonna, who's been doing really well this entire season, and he just smashes it past Adrian pretty much. Nothing Adrian can do. Look how close Nasri is, so I'm not going to blame Adrian for that. I still think he's a quality keeper, and he will be the keeper going forward. As you can see, Sergio Roberto here with a bullet of a shot, just going wide. But Manchester City, of course, was still going to attack, and as you can see, Adrian there goes for the slide. The penalty's not given, and it could have been 2-0 if it wasn't for the crossbar and some great defending from Winston Reid there. And just, yeah, Manchester City kept pushing at us, kept attacking at us. Zarate here in the dying embers of the game. He tried putting us up 1-0. Joe Hart with the save, but it didn't matter because we had the run-in from the main man, Victor Moses, who's been stepping up quite a bit recently. I don't know, I'm still iffy about Moses, but he's definitely been impressing me lately. Him and Antonio definitely have stepped their game up, and they're not in the bad books as they were, I don't know, like 5 games into the season. I was just like, you know what? I'm dropping the wingers. Now I'm giving a bit more of a chance and seeing what they're made out of, especially with Zaha now in the team. I want to see how wingers will work, and I do want to implement wingers. I'm just trying to find the right formation. Not sure if I should be going for a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, and which variation of the 4-3-3 I should be playing, so still trying to figure out a few things going out of January and into the second half of the season. As you can see, another draw here today. 1-1, and we're making a habit of pulling out draws. You know, we seem to be getting draws all over the place lately. But 8 shots, 5 on target against their 6 shots, 4 on target. Quite an entertaining game, if I do say so myself. Going into the FA Cup, round 5 against Rochdale, or is it Rockdale? I think it's Rochdale. I think I'm right in saying Rochdale, Verdale. And as you can see, quite a young lineup, playing a lot of youngsters here. Lazaro gets his debut. He was a signing that we made from, I believe, Salzburg he is. I could be wrong from that. But I hope he's from Salzburg. I wouldn't want to be wrong about that. He might not be. But he is a young talent, a winger, can play on both wings. And he's definitely someone that I wanted to try out. He's someone who I'm very excited for in this series, and hopefully he can go into a very good talent. Of course, not a first-team player right now, but hopefully, maybe next season, if Moses or Antonio don't really suit me. If I'm not really happy with them, maybe one of them will leave the club, opening up a spot for Lazaro to get on the bench or something like that. But as you can see, we start off brilliantly against Rochdale, a game that I think we should be winning. It's Samuelson who puts it past the keeper, another player I'm very excited for. And this youngster team is just really, really good right now. Quite solid. We have, good players all around the pitch. We have Granderson in attacking mid as well. Obviously from the actual youth academy that we've set up. So we've got a couple of decent players coming through. And this game in the FA Cup, I was like, I'm just going to play the youngsters. If it was an important FA Cup game, of course I'd be playing some bigger name players. But I thought, Rochdale, I think some of the youngsters can handle it. Eventually, of course, we did get the substitutes like Payet on and Valencia, who here threads it back through to Payet, and it's just brilliantly worked goal, makes it 2-0, and pretty much guarantees our progression in the FA Cup, which is very, very good. But not that surprising when you think about it. I mean, it's only Rochdale. It's not, it's not the most difficult thing to get past, so yeah. I wasn't too surprised that we were beating Rochdale, but it is good, because yes, FA Cup is something I want to push for, especially with our elimination from the Capital One Cup. This is the only domestic cup that we're still in, so hopefully we'll be challenging for this by the time the season ends. Even if we made a decent push like we did for the Capital One Cup, I think, a quarter-final or semi-final push would be really, really good for the club. Something to expand on for next season. But I think the youngsters did very well. I'm very impressed with the likes of Samuelson and Granderson. And especially we had Lazaro playing this game as well. I was very impressed with all of them. We had Burke come back from loan, so he's playing centre-back as well. He's a very highly rated, in real life especially, he's a very highly rated centre-back for West Ham United. So, I'm definitely looking to play a couple more youngsters and try and train them as well. As you can see, those, it doesn't change too much who I train and what I train them in, but I know people do want to see it, so I'll add here or there, I'll add the simulations of who I'm training and what I'm training them in. It's the same usual people like Zaha now is getting trained, but other than that, it's pretty much the same players like Lanzini and all them that I was training pre-January. But we'll go into this game at Norwich City at Carrow Road against the Canaries. And this is a game that I do expect to win. And we start off brilliantly, man. Zarate with that little fake, that little juke, and the vibe, and just smashes it. And just absolutely smashes it. Really like that goal from Zarate. Just an absolute machine. Showing his worth as our striker. And now with much less competition due to the fact that Andy Carroll and Sacco have both left the club, one permanently, that was Carroll, Sacco out on loan. Now he's really only competing with Valencia, so I feel like both of them have a bit more freedom. There's not too much stress of, I wonder if I'm going to keep my spot or not. They're allowed to play a little bit looser, and I feel like that's helping them a lot. And I think Zarate is just a fantastic striker. I'm a big fan of him, and we do go 1-0 up thanks to him here at Carrow Road. But Norwich City weren't going to lay down that quickly. Of course, they're a pretty decent team at home, and they bring one back through a thunderous strike, beating Adrian at his near post. Unfortunately, Adrian again, I'm not going to blame him too much, to be fair. It's just keepers this year. Near post is... actually, you know what? They put a patch in where keepers are now, quite decent. But still, I feel like near post is still something where keepers just struggle to compute. They don't know what they're doing. And as you can see here, Norwich actually go up 2-1. And this is surprising. I was not expecting to go down 2-1 to Norwich City. But they played exceptionally well. I couldn't talk. How can you take anything away from that goal? Beautiful pass, beautiful finish, and they go up 2-1. Adrian, nothing he can do from that range. We try and bring it back. Zarate here on his right past the post, and unfortunately, that would be the game. 2-1 loss to Norwich as the final whistle blows, and a very, very unfortunate defeat here at Carrow Road. And Norwich City, a very important 3 points for them, because they're a team that will be towards that mid-table to getting relegated, around the 13th to 17th, 18th spot. So they'll want to really fight for their survival. And this is a massive 3 points against a pretty decent team, if I do say so myself. And as you can see, the disappointment in the faces of our players and in their body language. And Norwich very happy with that win. And yeah, just a real big disappointment leaving Carrow Road. As you can see, 4 shots, 4 on target for Norwich, 3 shots, 1 on target for us. As soon as they equalise, it feel like we're just deflated. That's what it felt like. We just deflated and we had nothing left in the tank. And that's very unfortunate going into this game against Bayer Leverkusen. And if you look at the bottom left corner, Granderson has grown by 7 overall this season so far. So I'm very excited to see how much we can grow him. I can't wait to see if we can get him up 10 overalls by the end of the season, but he's growing, man. He is definitely growing. 60 rated now, looking like a decent player. But we move on to this game against Bayer Leverkusen and go down 1-0 immediately thanks to Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Beautiful, beautiful finish. He's one of the best dead ball strikers, especially from free kicks, and he's got a brilliant long shot as well. He's a fantastic player, and he's, you know, grabbing a lot of people's attention lately, especially with these freaking free kicks, man. The dude is insane. I loved watching him play when I watched the Bundesliga. I don't really watch it that much anymore, but I remember a couple years ago when I watched the Bundesliga, when he was at Hamburg, and then when he initially moved to Leverkusen, I was such a big fan of him. And unfortunately, I don't really tune into the Bundesliga as much as I would like to anymore, but maybe I will. I don't know. I've just been watching the English Premier League so far. If you don't know, I did actually watch a lot of Bundesliga and Serie A, but lately it's just been Premier League and Manchester United. I don't know, I feel like I haven't had time to watch other football. I don't know, it's not really accessible here in Australia, which is very unfortunate. But going back onto the game, we do bring one back thanks to the main man, my boy. I'm not even going to say his name, but I'm just going to let you know he's my boy. And we go 1-1 here at Upton Park in the Europa League knockout rounds. I haven't even mentioned that we're in the round of 16. As far as the Europa League, I'm not expecting to go too far. I'd be surprised if we actually won against Leverkusen in the second leg and was able to go through. But they do leave Upton Park with the away goal. Very, very crucial away goal, might I add. That could really, really change the complexion of the second leg, because they don't really need to do anything. They can just sit back next game, get a 0-0, and progress through aggregate through the away goal. So, yeah, they have the upper hand going into the second game, but I still think we could do something decent against Leverkusen. They have a very good team, but so do we. And as you can see, we end today's episode in 5th. So a little bit more realistic. We're dropping out of that top 4, as I said we'd eventually do. And it seems like now we are starting to really get that wear and tear of the season. But just 16 goals conceded, still the best defensive team in the league. But as you can see, the goals scored is very, very low. We need to start scoring more goals. The 0-0, the 1-1, they're not good enough anymore. We need to be doing more than that, and hopefully we can do that in the next episode, guys. If you'd like to see that, smash the like button for me. 50 likes on this episode would be absolutely brilliant, and I'll try my very hardest to get another one out for you guys tomorrow. With 3 series running, it is quite difficult. But that's it from me, guys. I'll see you in the next one very soon. Keep it real.